What is going on, guys? I hope you guys had a blessed weekend. Man, it is Sunday, April 21st, 2024, and we are talking LSU baseball. Are they contenders or are they pretenders? As we all know, this story of this LSU baseball season has been a roller coaster and not a fun one, like the one where you go to the old theme park and it's about 60 years old and it's the world's oldest roller coaster. It's made out of old wood and it's all rotted and you're really scared to death to ride this thing. That is what this LSU baseball team has put all of us through this year. But you know what? They got to suck it up and deal with it, so we do too. Every time I say, hey, I'm not going to watch the game today, you know what I find myself doing? Watching the game, torturing myself just like you guys. All right? So, LSU actually won an SEC series this weekend, and you guys probably think, like, man, you would think you'd be a little happier, but it's not. It didn't help very much because, like, you saw the same issues. You just seen them face not good teams. Like, there's no doubt in my mind if they would have played another top 25 team, they'd probably lose 2 out of 3. But they didn't. So they played Missouri. They won 2 out of 3. They won game one in 7 innings. 10-run ruled Missouri 12-1. You got the start from Gage Jump that you have been begging for the entire SEC season. He goes out there and dominates. 12 strikeouts, pitches a complete game, 1 run allowed, and really set LSU up for success for the entire weekend. So I'm probably going to be a little Debbie Downer, but one good thing I want to take away from this weekend is Gage Jump maybe turning the corner. Possibly. Hopefully. Jay Johnson said it all starts with the guy on the mound, and if LSU can get good starts out of Gage Jump, that'll certainly help them down the stretch, because right now it's been nothing but Luke Coleman and Griffin Herron. And if you can get Gage Jump to be a little bit better than he's been, all right, he's been good this season, but if he can take that next step, that could help LSU down the stretch for sure, right? So you get the win on Saturday or on Friday night, 12-1. LSU offense goes crazy. I think they hit 6 home runs. 6 home runs? I don't even know. I'm looking at the stats and I don't even know. 13 hits, huge offensive production day. The wind was blowing out to right. LSU did a tremendous job of getting the ball elevated to right field and was just letting the wind do its thing. And they kind of took control of this game early and often, got up 8-1. And like I said, it was kind of on cruise control after that. Gage Jump really going out there and dominating and making sure Missouri had no life at all. So that was a huge positive for LSU. And I know you guys were just like me, right? I know every single one of y'all was just like me. Now, there's some guys out there that are going to be watching this and they're going to be like, nah, I knew it was going to just a one-time thing. I really thought LSU had turned the corner. You know? It's like when you keep going back to that damn ex-girlfriend, man. Just can't leave her alone. You know she's bad for you, right? And you're hoping things are different this time, right? And then you go back, and it's the same thing over again. Because boy did Saturday not disappoint. So LSU has a chance here with the ace on the mound. Luke Coleman been pretty much dominant all year. I think other than the Arkansas start, I mean, really dominant. Probably one of the best pitchers in the country. And he was not good. He was not good at all on Saturday. And in a game you really needed to win, and even looking back now, even after you won the series, you still look back at that game and you're just like, damn it. Like, this team needs to win so bad, man. And these games are so close. This game wasn't as close. I think the final score ended up being 8-7. Yes, 8-7. The final score. Don't let that shit fool you, because it was not an 8-7 game until the very last play of the game, right? LSU goes and they score 2 in the 8th, 3 in the 9th, and they made it a game when it really wasn't a game. Luke Coleman was bad, man. He was bad. You needed him to go out there and be an ace. I felt like the offense early in this game had a good approach and they were taking good swings. They just weren't getting the results, right? Missouri's pitcher was really good. He's their ace. He's been their best pitcher all year. He threw well, and lefties have been giving trouble to LSU all year. But I felt like if Luke could go out there and dominate and do what he does and contain this game, then you had a chance, right? And even after he didn't do that, and they bring in Aiden Moffitt, he gives up the double that scores 4 in the 5th inning, and everything kind of unraveled. You beat Missouri's ass, man. How many innings did they play? Can't do math. What's 18 plus 7? Y'all know what it is. Y'all beat them for every single inning of the series, except for the 5th inning on Saturday, and that is why you came out with a loss in this game. You gave up 4 runs. You let the game get away. The offense couldn't recover. You gave up a shit solo home run at the very end to really stick it to you there, because you would have tied the game, but instead you gave up a meaningless home run because you brought in Micah Buckman in when you could have used somebody who was halfway decent. But that's a story for another day. I get it. Like, you're not going to Griffin Herron in that situation. You're not going to Nate Alkenhausen. He was starting today. Like, you're not doing any of that. But that being said, I don't know. I just don't understand. You make an error early in this game. It gives up 2 runs in the 1st inning. Listen, you're going to think this shit is made up, and it's not. Like, I can't make it up because it happens so frequently. Y'all watch the games. Y'all know. LSU gave up 8 runs on Saturday, right? Now, for you guys good at math, I don't know what 7 out of 8 is, percentage-wise, right? But if you do, or if you have a calculator handy, all right, do that math for me. What is 7 divided by 8? You guys typing it in? What'd y'all get? I didn't know. I didn't look it up. So, whatever you got there, that is the percentage of runs that Missouri scored with 2 outs. 2 freaking outs. The problem for LSU all season they haven't been able to get off the field. They get 2 outs and then they forget how to play baseball, and it is like in watching a middle school team play. Like, holy cow. You had 2 outs in the 5th inning and you gave up 4 runs. It was ridiculous, man. It was so hard to watch. 7 of the 8 runs come with 2 outs. If you just get out of one of those innings, the 1st inning you gave up 2 runs, the 2nd inning you gave up 1 run, the 5th inning you gave up 4 runs, the 8th inning they hit a solo shot. That was the only run of the game that was not scored with 2 outs. If you get out of the inning in the 1st, 2nd, or even 5th, I'll even give them the 5th. They can have those 4 runs. You give me the 2nd or the 1st, you get out of that inning without giving up any runs, and you just get me 1 out, LSU wins the game. Simple as that. But it's the story of this LSU baseball season, man. And it goes back to what the name of the video is. Are they contenders? Are they pretenders? And I'm going to be honest with you, I have no freaking clue. Right now, they're complete pretenders. And I don't even know what they're pretending to be, because they ain't good, right? It ain't like, people say Kentucky. Like, Kentucky's winning a bunch of games right now against lesser opponents and kind of stacking up wins, but then they go and get their behinds cut by Tennessee this weekend, right? That's pretenders. LSU's not pretending to be anything. The most frustrating thing is they are who they are, and that is not a good baseball team right now. They have all the talent in the world. I think Jay Johnson is an amazing coach. I think the box is always packed. The fans are the best. The on-field production has been atrocious all season long, and I'm so freaking tired of watching it, guys. I'm so tired of watching it. I thought this weekend was going to be different. I drew up all the scenarios. I was like, listen, if they can get to 14 SEC wins, they're in. And damn it, they still got a chance to do that. But do I think they could do that? Hell no. I don't think they're going to beat Alabama or A&M at this point. If they beat Auburn next weekend, cool. That's just another shitty team that you beat. If you beat Ole Miss at the end of the season, cool. That's just another crappy team you make. You'll make the SEC tournament and you'll get 1 or 2 and out in that thing, and then we'll pack it up and go home and watch the postseason from the house, which is not the standard of LSU baseball. It's completely unacceptable. You have way too much talent on this roster for this to be even part of the discussion. But you guys already know this, and I'm just ranting about it right now because it's all coming to fruition. Like, I really thought that Saturday game, man, that Saturday game was the one. Like, that's your defining game right there. Like, you go out there and Luke Holman wins that game, and then you come back and you win a game like you did today on Sunday, man, and you sweep Missouri and you carry that momentum into next weekend. Like, you are really trending back on the right path. I get it, man. It's Missouri, but 3 conference wins is doubling what you had, man. You got the same amount of conference wins. You could have had the same amount of conference wins you had coming in. You could have doubled it. You had 3 coming in. You could have got 3 going out. You could have had 6. You could have played Auburn. And let's just say, you don't play as well and you win only 2 out of 3. Let's say you play good and you sweep Auburn. Now you're sitting at 9 wins. And now you have 3 series to get me 5 wins. 5 wins. 3 series, you got to get me 5. That's it. 5 wins. Somehow find a way to get 5 wins, and you are in the tournament. You could go probably 0-2 in Hoover. Or 0-1 in Hoover. It wouldn't matter. You're in, man. You played good teams. People see that. You won against good teams. You didn't get swept by everybody. You weren't a complete... I mean, in LSU standards, you were a complete abomination, but you're not a complete abomination to everybody else. But you couldn't do that, right? And so you sat here on Sunday, you get down 2-0, and boy, oh boy, did I feel it. I was this close, guys, to turning that shit off. I was like, they're going to do this again on a Sunday. But then, they ended up coming back. They ended up winning 6-2. They actually played tremendously well after they gave up those 2 runs, right? You give up the 2 runs on an error, of course, because, it's LSU baseball. Of course you gave up an error with 2 outs. So, you sit here now with 5 wins in SEC play. The number is still 14. 13, you're sweating. 13, you better be an A&M or Alabama to even think about getting in this thing, or you better start winning some games in Hoover, right? 13, you're sweating. All right, 14, I think you're in. 14 and a win in Hoover, I think you're 100% in. Right? So let's talk about what LSU has coming up. Like I said, you have the series against Auburn. It's at home. You have a bunch of series at home now. You have the Allied. You have the Ole Miss series at home. You have the A&M series at home. You have the Auburn series at home. And then you go on the road to Bama. All right? So that's 3 of the last 4 that are at home. That's in your favor. You've been on the road for a while now. Right? You played 3 of the last 4 on the road. Like, you've been through the gauntlet. But you have to start playing better. None of this means anything. None of these scenarios that any college baseball expert draws up and says, hey, if LSU gets hot, it all takes LSU playing better baseball. They are not going to win these series if they don't play better. I don't care if they're playing Auburn. I don't care if Auburn has 2 or 3 SEC wins, just like LSU. They could very easily lose that series just as much as they could sweep it. That's the kind of LSU team we're dealing with now. Now, do I blame this on the players, Coach John? It's a mixture of everything, man. It is... I don't know. I really couldn't tell you what it is, man, because it's like the things that great teams are good at, LSU is the worst at. Everything in baseball that people think don't mean that much. Fielding. Base running. Timely hits. clutch pitching, like getting outs, like finishing ball games, like everything that great teams are good at, right? Maybe not even necessarily great at, but they're just good enough. Like I go and watch Arkansas play. Like Arkansas doesn't blow people out. Like I don't know if anybody's watched any of the Arkansas games other than when they played LSU, but you go and watch Arkansas play, they're playing in tight games every single weekend. But you know what? They can win all of them. You know why? Because they're a good team and they know their strengths and they know their weaknesses. And I just don't even know if LSU has strengths. Like they're just not. I don't know, man. They just pick a new thing every single game to be bad at that ends up costing them the game. It's like one day you're bad at pitching. One day you can't hit. The next day you can't field. And then when you snowball that stuff on top of each other, you're not even coming close to winning. That's what we're seeing on Sundays. It's like the combining factors. And the fact is, it's like if you could just fix it up to be all right, like, and not terrible at it, like you're winning some of these games. Like we're gonna look back no matter what happens on the rest of the season. Like you're gonna be able to look back to like 3 or 4 different plays, not just games, like plays in the game that cost LSU the game. That was the difference between them making the postseason or missing the postseason. And that is a real fact. Like that is how thin the margins are in this league. Like LSU last year loses series, right? You go and you play Arkansas last year, and then you get them on the doubleheader. You play extremely well in the doubleheader, and you win both of those games, like to open up the year, right? You play Tennessee, like you're a play here, a play there. Jordan Thompson comes up with a huge triple at the end of the Tennessee game to give you the lead, and you end up winning that series, right? Like there are plays, like if they don't go the LSU's direction, like they're not winning those games last year either. Like it doesn't matter how good your team is, but it's about who can make the plays when they need to be made. Like catching a drop third strike and throwing the guy out against Florida. Boom, you win that series. Giving the ball to a guy like Nate Ackenhausen who's been here, telling him, hey, get me 6 outs. Give me to the promised land. We got you the lead against Vanderbilt. Like, get me out of this thing and not give up a 2-run home run to give up the lead. Like, there's so many moments in this game of baseball that just... like they might happen in the 2nd or 3rd inning or the 5th inning. Not all games are won and lost in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. Like it is so crazy. Like the game of baseball is the wildest sport ever. And it can be a pitch in the 1st inning that affects you in the 9th inning. And it's little things like that, like having to... you boot a ball, Michael Braswell boots a ball against Vanderbilt. You have to bring in Griffin Herron to finish that first game off. And now you don't have Griffin Herron to close out the game on Saturday that you ended up losing, right? Do I feel a hell of a lot better? Maybe the outcome's not the same, but I sure do like Griffin Herron in that situation more than I like Nate Ackenhausen. And that's no offense to Nate Ackenhausen because he's done a lot of good things for LSU, and I really have liked him in this Sunday starter role. He's really done a really good job of not letting LSU get the doors blown off of them, like keeping them competitive in the game. Even though they lost last week, and he still pitched good enough for them to win, right? And that's the thing with this LSU team. I hope they turn it around. I think you guys know how I feel after watching this. Like, next series, we're just going to take it by game, man, because this team is so wishy-washy. Like, you don't know what to expect every single game. And so that's all I got for today. It was kind of long-winded today. I hope you guys could keep up with all that, man. It has been a frustrating baseball season to say the less, but realistically, man, LSU still has a chance to accomplish whatever goals they had, man. And we've seen it before, and I know I'm beating a dead horse because y'all hear it all the time, like the Ole Miss story and all that stuff. Do I think LSU can do that right now? Absolutely not. But is it possible? Like, they have the talent. If it ever starts clicking, like, this team can win baseball games, and that is a known fact. You've seen them play well. You've seen what they can do when they play well. It's just about putting it all together, man, and I hope they can get that done sooner than later. Hopefully this weekend against Auburn, they can lock it in and maybe get 3 games, even better. If you can get 3, but definitely getting 2 is a crucial. You're almost to the point where you have to win a majority of the series if you're not going to get these sweeps. So we'll see, man. LSU be back at the box. 3 out of the last 4 series. Let's see if we can make some 2024 magic and see what happens. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and like this video. I will see you guys on the flip side.